What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? It took a little bit of time, but I did finally come around to showcasing this unit. Of course, this is the 100% potential first form cell unit that does Dokkan Awaken from the SR version that you can pick up from the banner. It's pretty much a relevant unit. And the reason why I titled it as such is because honestly it is the best first form cell unit in the game, and that suggests that there's a severe lack for a good unit of this version of Cell. It almost feels like, I mean, this guy was a pretty critical and pivotal character within the manga. You know, it changed the whole direction of how Dragon Ball Z kind of went about after his introduction to the manga. So I feel like he definitely deserves like a much better unit, and with the recent hot trend of the transformation mechanics, for a unit like Cell, it would make sense to have that mechanic with this unit. Other units, I could go on about what units should be in the game, that haven't been, whatever, but I'm not going to go into the details. But I do not recommend maxing out this unit. I did it mainly for collection purposes, so just to throw it out there, this isn't a unit I necessarily recommend you max out. So let's go ahead and cover the unit itself, the Elusive Beast, Cell First Form. Again, this Dokkan's Awakens from the SR version. So leader skill is tech type, attack increase of 50%. Super attack is going to cause extreme damage to enemy. Passive skill, recover 30% of damage dealt as health. So decent enough passive, but it would be nice to have some sort of percent based attack increase or whatever the case is. Again, this is pretty much an obsolete unit. I haven't really seen this unit covered at 100%, so that's kind of why I wanted to do it. But in terms of links, you're looking at Flee is +1 Ki when HP is 30% or below. Messenger from the future is attack increase of 500. Attack of the Clones is +1 Ki. Kamehameha is 2500 to attack when SA is launched. Big Bad Bosses is attack and defense 25% increase to attack and defense when HP is 80% or below. Formidable enemy is 10% increase to attack. The Wall Standing Tall is attack increase of 15%. This unit does fall into 3 categories: androids, enhanced transformation, and time travelers. I wanted to include him on the enhanced transformation team just because of the overall the team itself works best on the enhanced transformation category. At rainbow status, you're looking at HP of 9,887, attack is 9,643, and defense is 7,803. 12 Ki Multiplier is 130%. So again, this unit is something I don't necessarily recommend that you rainbow, and I did bring in some support units, like as much help as you could possibly get, like Kid Buu and the World Tournament Perfect Cell. Both provide pretty substantial increases toward attack and defense as part of the passive, so of course I want to include units like that. The Buu units typically do have like at least the link skill of the Wall Standing Tall, so that does help with that. Some of those do have Big Bad Bosses as well. So I don't know, the enhanced transformation team definitely struggles with getting HP levels down because of all the units within that category that have the HP recovery functions, you know what I mean, with the passives and links and whatever. So getting the HP below 80% is sometimes a little bit of a struggle, but in some cases you will see the link skill active with that. I don't even remember, like, this was recorded I think the other week, so I don't even remember like the output for damage that this guy was able to produce. It's not much. You're looking at attack stat potential of 247,000. At 100%, this is pretty terrible. You know what I mean? So I mean, to put it in perspective, potential orbs did go into this guy, and he's still putting out 247,000 potential attack. I think the very best I've seen this guy put out is maybe close to 400,000, which isn't bad, but it is with 150% leads, and he's getting a lot of help. So I don't know, maybe at some point this guy will get a Dokkan Awaken along with an introduction of the transforming cell unit. I don't know, who knows, we'll find out. But again, this is really just comes down to it being for the collection purposes, and I kind of wanted to test it out at 100% potential because I haven't seen it done before. So that's really what it came down to. certainly not worth the orbs. I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's definitely not. There are much better units than this one that deserve the orbs, so it's definitely not worth it. But it's always fun to run experiments like this, test it out, and see how certain units do. I mean, this unit, like I said, I've never seen it at 100% potential. I've always been quite curious about it, so I did finally have the courage to invest the orbs, you know, whatever, waste the tech potential orbs and invest it toward this guy. But am I ever going to use this unit? Probably not. I mean, there are much better units, even for androids, enhanced transformation, whatever, you name it. 80% of the units in the game are probably better than this guy, so I think the only benefit that he would potentially bring is the ability to recover 30% of damage dealt toward HP, you know, but honestly, he's not going to produce that much in damage, so, you know, really, what's the point? And I did pick Boss Rush Stage 5 just because, you know, you want to test it out against some of the tougher Dokkan events. You know, you don't want to pick a mediocre one and kind of like inflate the numbers a little bit. I wanted to see how terrible this unit actually is with the newer Dokkan events, you know what I mean? So it's worthwhile, you know, in that regard. Looking back, I should have maybe tested it out on the Gogeta Blue event, but he would have type advantage throughout, so he would have been able to hit for a pretty decent amount. Nothing, you know, extraordinary, obviously, but it would have been a decent amount, I think. So in this setting, you do get to see the unit tested out on various scenarios against different types of enemies, you know, so definitely makes things a little bit more interesting with that regard. So that's probably the highest I've seen so far from what I know, 528,000, which is still, at the end of the day, $500,000 is $500,000. That's not too terrible, but it is against the Angel Frieza unit, which is, you know, not the toughest of boss stages in a Dokkan event. So it's certainly not something you would realistically expect, and probably also has to do with the support, the constant support that he's getting. I mean, you're looking at 50% from Kid Buu toward attack and defense, and then another 30% from the World Tournament itself for attack and defense. So you're talking about a lot of supporting attack and defense boosts coming out his way. So, you know, in that regard, it's a little bit unrealistic. But for this test, I really wanted to just maximize his damage output as much as possible, because we already know how terrible this unit is. But just out of curiosity, you know, just testing out the ability to hit as much as possible. So that was pretty much the point of this showcase, honestly. I don't know. Maybe a lot of you guys were curious about it, didn't really hear about this unit, or didn't even know of this unit's existence. You might have seen the SR unit version, but didn't realize he does Dokkan Awaken into a UR status. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this, just kind of like getting some sort of entertainment value out of it. Hopefully my potential orbs weren't to waste, and you guys are enjoying the content at least, you know what I mean? I'm actually happy about it. It's a nice little obscure unit, rainbow unit to have in the collection, so I don't really regret it. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so like I said, I have no regrets with it. It's always fun to do this type of stuff, so it is what it is. And maybe down the road in the future, he does get some sort of Dokkan Awaken improvement. Maybe they'll introduce, I feel like they will. At some point, they're going to have to introduce a Transforming Cell unit. I mean, I know they had the LR Perfect Cell and Cell Juniors, but I feel like with the transformation mechanics being a hot topic right now, Cell would be one of those good candidates for that, along with maybe like Android 13 would be another unit that could potentially transform. I'm sure there's a couple of others that I'm missing that I can't come up with on top of my head, but you know, it's definitely a possibility. It's a real possibility that he'll get some sort of, we'll get some sort of transforming Cell unit in the game. I mean, I just don't see it not happening, you know what I mean, with the with the trend and whatnot. So as more time goes on, I guess we'll see what happens. Hopefully this guy gets some sort of improvement. Maybe the agility version does too, because I do love the artwork on the, you know, agility version. That's also a very nice one. So we'll have to see what happens, what the future holds in 2019. I don't know what the new meta will be afterwards. You know, transforming units are pretty much the new meta right now. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. But again, this cell unit, I was always curious about it at 100% potential. No particular reason as to why you should rainbow it. Honestly, you shouldn't. So I highly suggest that you do not waste orbs like I did for this unit. But hopefully this video was some sort of entertainment to you. Alright, as always, appreciate you watching.